Hi everyone, I'm Em. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my October TBR. Okay, I'm going to cobble together some things that worked from last month, but also some things that have worked for me in the past in order to build this TBR. I don't really know what I'm going to read yet. I have kind of a stack of things that it would be cool to read, but again, I'm not going to be super committed to this TBR, but there are a lot of things that I want to read. I also have noticed that I'm not really in spooky reading mode yet. Usually by this time of the year, I am ready for all the spooky reads, and I'm not, which is interesting. So I don't know if that's gonna like come around and I just need the weather to switch over, because our weather is still very summery. Like it's gonna be 83 today. It's sunny. Maybe I just need the rain and the gloom to kick in, and then I'll be in the mood for spooky season, but I'm just not feeling it this year. So there is some horror on my TBR, but there's also quite a bit of like not horror that I want to read. So well, we're just gonna work through it. I am gonna use the prompt cards again this month because that worked really well for me last month. I am going to pull from my TBR jar as well. I think we're going to do it a little bit different this time around. I'm going to talk about the books that I physically own that are on my TBR. We're going to pull from the TBR jar, and then I'm going to pull the prompt cards, and I'm going to see what from the selection I already have can fit onto the prompt cards and what is just going to kind of like float solo, I think is the plan. So let's go ahead and jump in with the book that I am carrying over from my TBR in September, and that is I Who Have Never Known Men. This was supposed to be the book club pick in September for the SFF book club that I lurk in, but I've had a hold on this at the library for a whole month, and it still hasn't come in. I did not anticipate this being so popular at the moment, so I'm still waiting, and whenever I get it in, I will read it. But I am now behind with this book club, which I'm pretty bummed about, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Also, my library does not have this as an ebook, an audiobook, and my library doesn't have Hoopla, so unless I want to buy it, which I don't really want to, so I'm just gonna be patient and wait for it to come in. And then I'm rolling over two books that I have started but haven't finished yet. They just haven't been high enough priority for me to get to. One you are going to be very, very familiar with, and I'm so sorry that I'm still talking about this book. It's not gonna roll over for much longer. I'm gonna do a normal TBR this month, and then November is going to be my catch-up month. So everything that I've kind of paused, or all the reading challenges that I've fallen behind on, we are catching up with those in November. So it's time is coming soon. Hopefully it's this month, but if it's not, it'll for sure be next month. And that is A Far Better Thing by H.G. Perry. I am not going to talk about this again because I've talked about it so much, but I am still only 62 pages in. I am going to finish this. I will do it. Hopefully it's this month, but if not, definitely in November. And then the other book that I started at the end of August, and I just haven't gotten back around to, is Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn. This is, I think, a fantasy standalone. I mean, I know it's fantasy. I think it's a standalone. And I got it because after I watched season 2 of Arcane, I was going through all the lists for like, okay, what books are giving Arcane? And this one popped up for giving Caitlin and Vi vibes. So I liked the little bit that I read 48 pages, and I really liked it. So I probably will restart it when I get to it because I was pretty distracted when I was reading it, and I want to read it with not being so squirrely with my attention span. And then the actual book that I'll be reading for my science fiction and fantasy book club, our October pick is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is my Aardvark book club edition that I have. And also, if you're ever interested in trying out Aardvark, I do have a code MJ that you can use for $4 for your first box and free shipping. It is for the US only, so I'm sorry, my international friends. But that is always linked down below if you want to check them out. This is their little special edition that they did where the naked hardcover has, oh, it's so pretty. Anyways, I've been really interested for reading this. This won the Hugo this year. I know Robert Jackson Bennett has been pretty beloved. He has had some pro AI social media stuff that I am not a fan of, but I already own this. So I'm going to go ahead and read it and see what I think. But I'm a little leery about reading too much from him now that I've seen those posts, if I'm going to be honest, but this is up for this month. And then I am behind on the Betty Pages Challenge Yourself Reading Challenge. I didn't do it at all in September. So I think I'm going to try to catch up on this one. But again, if I don't, November's theme is going to be catching up. But for September, I think the book I'm going to read to fulfill that prompt is Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. I have read this already. I didn't like it a whole lot, but having read Spread Me by Sarah Gailey and loving it, I kind of want to circle back around. I think I listened to it on audio the first time. I want to try reading it physically this time and see if I have a different opinion of it, though I know not every Sarah Gailey book is going to hit for me, but I do want to try it again and see if my opinion has changed. And then I think for October, there wasn't a ton on the list that I was interested in, but this one looks like it's pretty short. It's called Running Out of Time. It's dystopian because that's the theme for this year for the Betty Pages Challenge. So yeah, I think I might give this one a shot because the audiobook's only like 5 hours. So it'll be a short little read and it looks like it could be fun. Maybe, I don't know. What do I know? And then the last obligation that I'm going to talk about is for my Year of Butler and Gaskell challenge. I have modified it a little bit. This is going to be the last Gaskell book that I am going to read because I have not loved anything I've read by her except for North and South. Everything else has been a big flop, and I even DNF'd the book I was supposed to read by her in August. So for this month, I am going to read Tales of Mystery and the Macabre, and this is a book of short stories that are mysteries and supernatural. It's really short. My hope is that I can just kind of read this off and on throughout the month, though I am also not a short story person, so we'll see how this goes. I am nervous, but I'm also hoping that this is going to be different tone from her other books that I've read. And I did buy this months ago, specifically knowing that she would be an what month are we in? An October author. And so yeah, so I'm going to read this, but this will be my last Gaskell for the year. I'm just going to be focusing on reading more Butler after October. Okay, so those are the requirements. And then I pulled 3 books off my shelf that I'm interested in reading. One from Aardvark Book Club that I haven't gotten to yet, and 2 ARCs that I have for books that, one that's already out and one that is coming out soon. So I do want to read A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. When I posted my book haul, I mentioned that I felt like I had kind of missed the boat on this one because it feels kind of summery, and one of you was very lovely and said that you thought this would work well for fall as well. And so I'm going to take that recommendation and I'm going to officially put this on my TBR for October. I cannot keep the month straight. I'm so sorry. I really loved Secret Society of Regular Witches, and this is about a witch who opens up an inn, and there's magic, and I believe a man with his niece, young niece, come to stay at the inn, and I'm sure it'll be cozy and wonderful with a little bit of a romantic subplot, and I'm excited to read this, and I'm not hoping to love it as much as I loved Secret Society of Regular Witches, but I'm hoping to have a really good time with it. And then the 2 ARCs that I would like to read are, one is The Son of the Morning. This is by Kweke Emezi. It comes out in November, and this is their first romantasy, and I love Kweke Emezi, and I'm really excited to read this and see what they do in a romantasy space. I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty and loved it, so I have high expectations for the romance in this. I don't even know what it's about. I don't care. I don't need to know. I'm just going to read it. And then the one that's already out is The House of Quiet by Kirsten White. This is her new YA horror, and I really love Kirsten White, and I'm excited to read this. This is like a haunted house situation. I think there's sisters involved. Actually, when I read the synopsis for this during my book haul, I didn't say it at the time, but when I was editing it, I was like, oh, this synopsis, it reminds me of Phantasma. Because I think it's a girl goes into this house, this haunted house, to save her sister, and then there's trials. That's the plot for Phantasma. I don't know what to tell you. It just is. I don't think there's going to be a romance in this one, though. But who knows? Maybe there will be. But we'll find out. I'm excited to read it. Okay. Now we are going to move on to a coffee break. I was going to wear a spooky shirt or a Halloween shirt for this, but then I got my Buffy shirt in the mail, and so I had to wear that instead. my kids and I have been watching Buffy. I've been rewatching it. And it was like a core memory TV show for me. And so watching it now with my kids has been so fun and has rekindled my obsession. But I cannot even describe how mad I am at men who keep ruining the things that I love. Makes me so mad. Anyways, let's see what I'm going to get from the TBR jar. This is updated. I added all the books that were missing. So we got lots of choices. I think I'm going to pick an orange though, because I know an orange, that's like the most recent color, and then I'll pick a different color. Oh, yay, that's perfect. Okay, so I pulled Son of the Morning, which is that Akwaeke Emezi book, so that works out perfectly. I love when the universe is on my side and wants to make my life easy. And then the other book that, I guess we're doing a green. A green has been there for a minute. Like, they're starting to all unfold on their own. Oh, I've read this one already. Okay, never mind. Let's pull another green since they're unfolding. And I've read that one already. Okay. I promise I didn't rig this. I pulled the Tainted Cup, which is also already here. So love that for me. That worked out great. I promise that was not rigged. I don't think actually anybody cares. If somebody gets mad about my TBR and the validity of pulling from the TBR jar, I think that is a them problem and not a me problem. All right, now we're gonna draw for the prompt cards, though this feels kind of foolish because if I can't match up anything, this TBR is also already like, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm not reading as much as I used to. I used to do like 20 to 23 books per month, and I've read like 10 books this month. So this is already, I can math, 7? So I feel like I'm really like taking my bookish life in my hands with this, but that's okay. I did not put back in the prompt cards for last month yet because I didn't want to redraw them. So we're starting with a wholly unpicked stack. So we'll just go pick one. Should I do 5 again? Sure, why not? Let's go. Let's live large. So the first one is a book by an author of color. That's super easy. I'm gonna slot that with the Akwaeke Emezi book. So love that. Just making it work. Okay, and then next, let's do this like grayish, bluish color. I think it's upside down. Yeah, it's upside down. All right, a book with multiple POVs. And you know what? Among Thieves will work for this because there are multiple. I think there's like 3 or 4 POVs in this one. So that would work great for that. There's a purple one, but I kind of glanced at it. So I'll try not to, I don't want to bring the integrity of the system into question. Oh, we'll do this one. I don't know if that's the purple one, but it's really pretty. And it's a book featuring your favorite trope. Oh, what's my favorite trope? Do I even read? That is the question. All right, so I really like a marriage of convenience or a fake relationship, anything where they're really forced into a close proximity with each other. I like found family. I like, if we're going into horror, I like books with religious trauma. I like a haunted house. I like slashers. Slasher count as a trope, or I guess it's more of like a subcategory. All right, I think I'm gonna pull an audiobook from my Libro FM. I have the ALC for Ladies in Waiting by Alexandra Vosti. This just came out. It's a sapphic Regency romance, and it is rival novelists, I believe, which there's that enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers, I really like. The description says it's a pair of gothic novelists trade rivalry for love in the swoony, steamy, sapphic Regency romance. I've been seeing really good reviews for this so far. One of my really good friends gave it a glowing review on her Instagram. So I think I'm gonna make this my official pick for a book featuring your favorite trope. I'm also trying to get back into reading historical romance after taking a really long break. So I think that would be a good pairing for that card. Okay, we're gonna pull 2 more. Let's do this blue one. I haven't done a blue one yet. The newest book on your TBR. Oh, I just brought home a book the other day. Where is it? Let me go get it. All right, the newest book on my TBR is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen. I just brought this home the day before yesterday from the bookstore. and it is an arc. It comes out in January. I read Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead a couple months ago, and I both loved it and hated it. Loved it in the writing. It was really compulsively readable. Hated in how anxious it made me feel. But that was its job, so it succeeded. This one is, I think, about libraries and book banning, and the early reviews for this have been phenomenal, and I am really wanting to read more of Emily Austen's work because I found Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead so impactful. Okay, last one. I did kind of see a card I do not want to get, so let's hope I don't accidentally pick that one. Let's do light blue this time. A book set in winter? What? How am I gonna make that work? What is set in winter? I don't buy books that are set in winter because I don't like winter because it's snowy and I hate snow and I hate being cold. What do you mean a book set in winter? Ugh. Okay. This is really aspirational to think that I will do both of these books in 1 month. I don't think I have that in me. It also was not in my original plan, so I'm making zero promises. But in a previous video where I was going over like my autumnal TBR, I talked about how I wanted to reread Small Spaces by Catherine Arden and then go into the rest of the series because they're seasonal. And so I'm gonna say whatever the winter book is. That feels lofty, so I'm not gonna like 100% commit to it. I know I do not have any books on my TBR that are set in winter. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. And if I end up not reading what is that book called? Dead Voices. I'm gonna say Dead Voices, but if I don't get to it, I'll see if I can find something else. Like if I don't get to Small Spaces, so I can't get to Dead Voices, I'll do a deeper dive and see if I can figure out a different book that's set during winter. In the comments, tell me your favorite book that's set in the winter. Give me some recommendations, because apparently this is a hole in my reading practices that I don't get books that are set during winter. So with that, we have come to the end of this video with my TBR. It's actually not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I really appreciate the TBR jar prompts and the reading prompt cards for doubling up for me so nicely. That was really appreciated. So yes, this is what the TBR is going to look like. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any other recommendations for those different prompt cards that you think would work better or that I might enjoy. Because I always love to get the recommendations. You guys have such good titles in your wheelhouses, and I really appreciate it every time you leave me a recommendation. If you would just like to leave me an emoji to let me know you were here. Let's do a book emoji, since Is This a Cry for Help takes place in a library. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Bye!